Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am BorderWise, and welcome to whatever kind of video this is. I'm not sure what it is, whether it's a tutorial, whether it's a fun vid. It's probably just a fun vid, let's be honest, because it involves my canoe obsession and big guns. So, some time ago in the misty mists of the misty past, somebody, and I'm once again sorry, I don't remember who it was, asked me to do an APS and CRAM comparison video. Which, to be perfectly honest, I've kind of mostly covered in the From the Depths Weapons tier list video I did some time ago. But as a completely random coincidence, I was just mucking about the other day, and I made a canoe. I made this canoe. And I'm just like, you know what? I feel like experimenting with my typical What is a dazoo? Canoe design. And trying to make it more volume efficient and basically cram as big a gun as possible into a kind of volume efficient hull. And this is kind of the result. I'm not sure how much of a success this is because the ends of it are, well, I guess you don't really need all this, but it's just you've got that pointy canoe shape and that tapering shape that I just love so much. But anyway, I made this, and it's got a great big APS gun on it with deco barrel, of course. And I thought to myself, hang on, so what if we swap that out for a CRAM cannon? A Doom CRAM, if you will. And so that's what I did. And I made this version, and yes, it's got different camo, just so you can tell the two apart at a glance. And it's an interesting comparison, and that kind of reminded me of the request for a video, and so here we are. So, the short version, APS versus CRAM, is APS is overall the much more effective weapon types because it's so versatile. Like, I've said it before, I'll say it again, it is the most versatile weapon system in the game. It can be made to do anything, and, like, yeah, it's got very fast projectiles, they're accurate, they can shoot underwater, they can shoot above water, they can shoot at things that are in space, they can shoot at slow things, fast things, erratic things. It's just, they're all around better, and the only real advantages that CRAM cannons have over them is in raw power, so raw damage numbers, and volume and cost efficiency per tick of firepower, so to speak. And so where these things are kind of, I guess, direct competitors is like the main armament of a craft against, well, surface targets that aren't going too fast and are pretty big. So these are not very small ships, so they're about 166 meters long, 39 meters wide, height of 17, so they're quite flat. So these are both CRAM viable targets, so to speak. They're not complete either, I should mention. They don't really have any active defenses, they don't have shields, they don't have missile interceptors, they don't have lambs or anything like that. It's just, both of these things are guns with canoes built around them, and that's all I wanted, and that's what they do. They are quite fast, though, because they've got these huge azipods, which I love so much, and they look cool. So, yeah, these are pretty much exactly the same hull, so they've got reasonably thick armor. They've got this kind of sloping, spaced armor right here, so they've got this thick citadel, 4 meters thick, of metal and alloy, 3 layers of metal and a layer of alloy that acts as a kind of spall liner, and they've got this another citadel just covering the important bits, and they've got the slope thing with actual spall liner, and this is just kind of ablative armor, just an extra bit of width, and also so that that pancake turret doesn't have the edges hanging over, well, the edge. And so yeah, they're mostly empty space, and the kind of the tail ends of these things are just there for buoyancy and also for redundant blocks to shoot at. And these things are quite cheap for just how big they are and for the kind of firepower they're packing. So they're less than 300,000 materials, and the CRAM one is cheaper. So the Mega APS Pancake doesn't have a real name even. 274,859 materials, and this guy is about, what's it, about 10k cheaper, so 263, 519 materials, slightly more blocks though, so 10,900 versus 9,839, and that is because CRAM cannons have lots of little individual blocks right here. So, wow, the machine just lagged right then. Lots of blocks. So, yeah, also, oh yeah, I forgot, like, this CRAM barrel, this is a funny thing I do. I decorate APS barrels to look like CRAMs, and I decorate CRAM barrels to look like APS. I'm not sure why I do that. That's kind of a weird aesthetic thing to do, but I do it. So in any case, no doubt all of you are wondering, like, how do these things fare against each other? And I gotta say, they are astonishingly evenly matched. I've kind of fought them against each other like 4 times, and it's a 50-50 win streak. So we're just gonna hop into the custom battle simulator and just pit these against each other, and I guess I'll just keep nattering on about APS versus CRAMs. And away we go. Okay, so here we are. We have set up our fight, and we're going to start right now. And we're just going to have these guys shoot at each other, and it's a pretty consistent pattern when these two are having at it, so to speak. It is quite an interesting mirror match, and it kind of gives hope to the tournament idea I have. Yes, I know, I got to get around to doing tournaments at some point, because I keep promising to do it and failing to get around to it. Like, there's a lot of stuff to do. That's a weak excuse, but I'm sticking to it. So, when these guys start doing the fighty fight, you'll immediately notice that that CRAM cannon will miss. The CRAM pancake does, yeah, so those fragments do a huge amount of damage. I think they do like 100k per fragment. And you'll notice that I did not show you the APS shell. So this is a Super Cav frag penetrator. So armor-piercing head, solid bodies, frag, set to about 130 degrees. Penetration depth fuse, and that is a super cavitation base right there. So this thing aims beneath the water, and it does a lot of damage. And since it aims for clusters of blocks, it has a habit of going straight for the squishy bits of a lot of things. And luck of the draw actually depends on which part of each other these guys aim at, because CRAM cannons have a really annoying habit of aiming for the edge of things, and because they arc so much, they tend to miss a lot. Meanwhile, and you'll notice that currently, surprise, surprise, the APS pancake is winning, simply because, well, okay, let's see what happens. And that is the fight immediately, because these guys are deliberately set up so they only have the one weapon system, so it's like game over immediately. And, yeah, so this is where CRAM excels. This is not insubstantial armor. It is like, what is it? It's like 4 meters of alloy and 3 meters of metal, and then the turret itself is also armored and just rips straight through. To be fair, someone better at APS than me could probably make that whole setup more durable, in particular by using ejectors. I keep forgetting they exist, which is a very noob mistake. But yeah, so in less than a minute, the CRAM pancake wins, because luck of the draw, it managed to land a shot. Where is it? It looks like it landed right, yeah, it landed right on the turret. And before people start talking about, and that's what you get for using neckless turrets, that having a neck there probably would not have helped one bit at all. See, right there, we get straight back into the usual thing of missing a lot. So that is one outcome. The other outcome that tends to happen is that the APS pancake starts shooting the CRAM pancake right in the belly of the turret. So let's see here. Is that going to do anything? Probably not. Yep, it's missed. So these guys are quite fast. So they go at, yeah, they go at top speed, 50 meters per second. Oh my goodness, please don't crash. Oh, thank goodness it did not crash. That would have made me very sad. Let's see, where are you aiming? Yep, it is aiming. Oh, yeah, I should mention as well. So, yep, there's our little, well, our heavily damaged shark popper turret. Something I've come back to that I have not done in a long time is ammo keels. It's just a handy thing to hide your ammunition below the surface of the water, where it can only get shot at by, well, oh, I don't know, super cavitation rounds and torpedoes and particle cannons and all kinds of horrible things. So, yeah, that is That is not the best kind of ammo setup to use against, well, a craft like this. I am incredibly fond of super cavitation rounds, and I'm a little bit embarrassed that it took me so long to get around to using them all the time, because in particular, one very, very handy thing with super cav rounds is that one of the main counters to big APS shells are LAMs, laser anti-munition systems. And one way to get around them is that LAMs tend not to be any good against anything coming in the water. Well, that might be game. Nope, it's not game. See, that's just one of the great things about 180-degree Doomfrag, is that even when it misses, it doesn't. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so if you set up your AI and your APS to consistently aim at blocks below the water, what happens is that it tends to enter the water about... well, it's not there. That kind of whiffed. Yeah, it tends to enter the water at an angle and at a range. Yep. Okay, yep. That's right in the cram guts. Right in the cram guts indeed. Where are we? Yep. Yep, there's starting to be problems in there. Thank goodness for deck armor. Nice deck. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so it tends to enter the water in a way that stops LAM systems from even being able to hit the shell, which means that against things like the Megalodon, spoiler alert, well, I guess that's not really a spoiler, it's very handy. Oh, that literally bounced off the deck. That is painful. That is painful. I should really rig up the CRAM pancake to have a closer broadside, and also a more shallow broadside, like 45 degrees or something. Because currently the APS pancake is just wreckage shop at the moment. Uh-oh. That's not good. Mostly superficial damage, though. Let's see what that did. Yeah, this is why you don't skimp on the deck armor, ladies and gentlemen. Also, fun fact about CRAM cannons, they're more resilient than a lot of weapon systems, but yeah, if you keep, what the? Oh yeah, I forgot, this thing still has the ammo customizer in it. How about that? But yeah, where's those shells coming in? Yeah, oh yeah, those are getting in really deep, like... Oh yeah, that's a problem. That's the whole engine compartment gone. And thank goodness, that's one of the great things about, I will freely admit this is not the most efficient hull design, but, oh boy. Whoops, nope, that didn't get him. This is not the most efficient hull design, but because you've essentially got these long, flat bow and stern, that's basically mostly alloy, this thing does not sink. It never sinks. Yeah, that is ouch. That is very ouch. That is very, very ouch right there. So yeah, kinetic APS is actually very, very strong. That might be... Nope. And this is actually one of the main reasons I love craft which are quite flat. Is because anything that arcs, which is mostly CRAM cannons, let's be honest, tend to whiff over the top of them unless... the craft kind of steers into the shell as it comes at them. So yeah, it's overall, like, this is what I was, when I first tested these guys, this is what I expected for the most part, and, well, it is the result you get. And this is a reminder that one of the reasons that this guy is losing right now is because you actually need to get quite close for CRAMs to be effective, and it's kind of annoying that I keep forgetting that. Like... I remember, oh, I cringe at some of my earlier playthroughs of the Nita campaign. My early attempts, at least. I'm using CRAMs for such a long range because I keep thinking of them as artillery. And they're not. It is, in a game like this, CRAMs really are short-range weapons. If you are... You really gotta be within 1,000 meters in order to use them effectively, preferably closer. Because then they can actually hit the target, and they can hit what they're actually aiming at. It is amazing, however, that this thing is still moving. It's got some engine power, at least. Also, the fact that that CRAM cannon has massive holes ripped through it, and is still firing, and those shells are still kind of dangerous. They don't have the same kind of damage as they did before. but they still hurt if they hit. The question, though, is it going to hit? And you'll notice that this fight is going on a little bit longer, which speaks volumes about how, like, I guess the raw DPS per second, if you're only looking at the numbers, CRAMs do better than APS on that front. Yep, that's going to whiff again. Yep, whiffed. Completely whiffed. Whiffed. But yeah, in practice, yeah, so one of the main differences between CRAMs and APS that I could natter on about is that on paper, CRAMs seem better. Well, on paper, in writing, I guess. Who writes things down on paper anymore? Certainly not me. I certainly don't have a to-do list with stuff to do right in front of me on paper. I would never despoil a dead tree like that. That looks like it could be a dangerous shot. It wasn't. And this is one of the great things about thick armor, is that it might get shredded, but it prevents other things getting shredded. And yeah, this is a weakened Doom Cram, by the way, and it just ripped a massive hole straight through the side of this craft. Even though that outer layer of armor is just a layer of diagonal metal slopes and a layer of diagonal wood slopes, so it's not that strong. But yeah, it's just in raw numbers, CRAMs do seem better, but APS in practice just works a lot better. And that is what. Oh dear, yeah, that's a much weakened CRAM thing, and you can see now, yeah, the difference now is that CRAM cannon one-shot the turret in the last fight, but this time it's not managing that. It's not managing that at all. Also, I love camo canoes. Also, I love this Azipod design that I've ended up with. It's very nice. Did I actually stick? No, this thing doesn't need roll props. It's very convenient. I should really make a finished version of this. Maybe not quite the same. We'll have to stick ejectors on. Whoa, that looks like a good shot. It didn't look like a good shot. I hate how CRAM cannons get your hopes up like that. You just see the shot going, and then it doesn't happen. How is this thing still alive? Oh, I'll tell you how it's still alive. Redundant blocks and lots of alloy. Yeah, this thing can do... Oh, boy. Whole chunk ripped off. Whole chunk ripped off. Also, that ammo keel... I like ammo keels, particularly when they're made out of heavy armor. Ooh, I wonder... Oh, boy, that looked painful. Is this thing going to do anything? Nope. I like heavy armor ammo keels, specifically because they double as ballast, and, well, armor. It's gonna rip... that gun is going to rip... Yep, there it goes. There goes the Azipod, and it vanished. Completely. How much health does this thing have? 72% health, but it's, like, immobilized, but still aiming the gun, and still valiantly trying to carry on. I'm gonna let this go for about 8 minutes, and then I'm just gonna call it. Is that gonna hit? Nope. Nope, it's not. Oh yeah, another advantage to having a pointy thing like this, especially if you've got a giant Azipod, like, on both ends of it, is that, if an enemy, well, especially if it's armed with a cram gun, if it's aiming for the ends of this thing wiggle around quite a lot, so it tends to whiff horribly. By the looks of it, actually. Yeah, the end of this got sniped off. Tee-hee! Is this cram cannon gonna hit? Is it gonna hit? I don't know. Is it going to hit? Actually, it looks like the gauge has been dropped. Oh, dearie me. It looks like the fuse has been, it looks like the fuse box has been taken out. Also, the barrel has been sniped. Oh, boy. Okay. Yep, so that cram cannon isn't actually doing any more damage, so we can reset. So now it's 1-1, astonishingly. I've made very evenly matched craft here. And I would like to point out that if these two craft were flying, if they were moving at anything, I guess above 50 meters per second like constantly, and especially if they were constantly changing their altitude, the APS would win every single time, because CRAM cannons are bad enough at hitting things that are moving in a kind of zigzag fashion in a 2D plane. In a 3D plane, forget it. One of the best hard counters to CRAM cannons is just things that are moving constantly, that are constantly yawing, but also constantly changing altitude. So, those of you who remember the old Erie, the Onyx Watch Erie, and how bouncy that damn thing was, you'll know what I was talking about, because, you'll know what I'm talking about, I should say. Because, that damn thing was almost impossible to hit with CRAM cannons. Okay, let's see, is the first shot good? Is it good? Is it money? Nope, it's not. Also, another reason I love, well, azipods, man. This was my favorite thing to build these days. It's just a canoe with a big pancake turret and azipods, because azipods are the best thing since sliced bread. Man, I love bread. I love CRAM cannons, I love APS, I love canoes, I love bread. That looks like it could... Nope. Perspective is misleading. By the looks of it, I think, yeah, you're gonna need to get a lot closer, darling, if you want to hit this wiggly canoe. Let's see, where's that go? Yep, that is on schedule. Deacons, hell, those shells are actually really nasty. That's not even a railgun, by the way, in case anyone is wondering. Yeah, this thing is lobbing, whoa, where is it? It's darn it. I really should have shown this off for the designer a lot more, but yeah, this is lobbing 400mm, 8-meter long shells that are mostly gunpowder, so it's not even a railgun. I really like 8-meter long, 400mm shells because, well, no rail power required, and look at what this thing's doing. It is just tearing through armor like no one's business. And you are gonna have to pull your Uh-oh, that looks like it might be a very good shot. Yes, it was! So, yeah, that is why it's a good idea to use ejectors, ladies and gentlemen, because, well, otherwise... Wow, that ripped straight through here. This is why I love Doomfrag so much. Yeah, that's a lot of stuff. Yeah, so that's basically it for the comparison, is don't be fooled by the fight record that you see right here. That the CRAM Pancake won 2 out of 3 fights, because it could very easily have gone the other way. So, and in general, APS is more versatile, and when in doubt, use advanced cannons. That looked really scary. It's just, you see that huge fragment burst. And yeah, but CRAM cannons have their niche. If you want to really, really murder something that's dumb enough to move slow enough to be hit, you can't go wrong with a CRAM cannon. But I really need to check the targeting on that. So anyway, that's basically a canoe-assisted guide to a comparison between CRAM cannons and APS. And all things considered, I think I did mention before, or I'm going to really emphasize this. What did that do? That looked like it ripped. Neat. Yep, that is, whoa. Yeah, this is the AI compartment, and that just narrowly missed it. So yeah, all things considered, you could just think of CRAM cannons as kind of a more specialist weapon, really. So, for the specific thing they do, which is doing lots of damage against slow targets, they are better than APS, but APS in every other regard is much better simply because they're much more versatile. Like, Deacon's Christmas. Yep, that's a very dead turret now. So yeah, I think I forget what I've said and what I haven't said. Let me know in the comments below whether your main guns, so to speak, are CRAM or APS. I suspect most people are going to say APS, because, let's face it, you can't hit a lot of things with CRAM cannons, and that's a problem. That looks really cool. I usually don't look at Doomfrag explosions from far away, but from far away you realize, oh my goodness, those things have a huge area of effect. It is scary, scary. So, on that note, thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Support me on Patreon or YouTube membership if you like. It really helps. And there's fun perks in it for you. Thank you to all my current supporters, and I will see you next time in From the Depths. I don't know what kind of fun thing we're gonna do next. Suggest fun things, and I might just do them. Farewell.